was
right.
quick.
All right. We had a countdown and everything, so it wasn't ready. Thanks for clicking on our faces. Tonight, we are talking about the season 2, episode 2 of What If. Now, tonight's is a certified wind down. We got a little bit of libations and spirits. The red cup. What are you drinking there in that red cup?
I have some red wine. It is called Rashid. It's a wine that both me and my mama like. Before I made my way to the house, I said, "Mama, do you want some red wine?" Oh, I said wine. She said yes, and I said that's all I need to know. I mean, I would have done it, but I just wanted to ask Mama because Mama Bad Guy is fantastic. And so yeah, some Rashid. What do you have in the cup? You have a much more classier cup than I, but what do you have?
Thank you. So I have a homemade Moscato that I've put together in October along with my boyfriend, and it is very much delicious.
It sounds delicious. Sounds great. I can hear the ice hitting the glass. We are here to talk about, how do you feel so far? We're only 2 episodes in to What If, but how are you feeling so far about these 2 episodes?
So, in my opinion, they've been pretty strong. Like, I liked the first episode. I believe I liked the second episode even more. This second episode, well, let me not get into it. What do you think? What do you think about the first 2?
So they've definitely gone into the galaxy heavy, but they have been fun. Like, I can't say these 2 episodes are my favorite. I feel like once we get towards the end, we will have like, hey, what was our favorite? But they have just been fun. I love the different take on these timelines, or how the MCU could have them taking a chance on, hey, the MCU, if it took this route. And I like that. I know we're going to dig a little bit more into this episode, but I really just been digging. And also too, I didn't get a chance to say this on yesterday's episode, but one of the things I do like is that they're taking the chance on, maybe not the word is take a chance, but they're using characters that a lot of people are not familiar with, or just giving more shine to, if you will. Because in this episode, if I could just jump a little bit ahead, we get Hank Pym's Ant-Man, who we didn't get a chance to really see in the MCU. Yeah. And then also, not T'Challa, was it
T'Challa's daddy?
There we go. T'Challa's daddy. There we go. Yeah, we're not going to mispronounce names here.
And along with another character, actually 2 that I was unfamiliar with.
Sure, tell me.
Yeah, and I didn't know their character names because they didn't mention them. They just mentioned them by their, like, their real names, their real last names. But it wasn't until the credits that I realized that the gentleman that Hank Pym was approached when he first got into what he called his job, but not his job, which we'll talk about. This guy's called Goliath, I think it was. And
he was in Ant-Man and Wasp. That's Lauren Fishburne's character.
It was?
It was, yes.
Oh,
I know what you mean, because we didn't get an opportunity to really see him, and also to the animation, because he's a lot younger than what we saw in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
But confession, I don't think I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. Maybe that's why I don't think I like that. But there was another character too, and maybe she was in another Marvel movie that I may have missed, or maybe she was possibly in Miss Marvel. But there was Marvel was there.
Marvel, there we go. See, shout out to you, because not only did you do a fantastic job hosting this week, but you did your research here, because I agree with you. I had no idea who this was. I said, where did it get Martha Stewart from?
Right. Who is this woman?
I had no idea. And it made me realize maybe I didn't pay attention to Captain Marvel as much as I thought.
But, we have her. And they put together this makeshift Avengers crew to take on Peter. Now, Peter, they kind of framed him in the beginning like this super powerful little villain. Like, what was that movie that was like, if Superman grew up to be bad? That's what this reminded me of.
Oh, it's oh God, I know what you're talking about.
H?
No, you're talking about when Superman, he goes to Russia, right? That one?
No. It was like an indie film, and they made
Oh,
a
no,
kid
I don't
who
know
they
this.
never called him Clark, but he had like Superman-esque powers.
Oh, no.
But he used them for bad. Like he was like a little menace. Like he was horrible, and that's what this reminded me of in the beginning. So I thought that was interesting to see, him tearing up the town. But then later on, we discovered that he was kind of doing
Mind
it,
control.
yeah,
Because
in
of his father.
retaliate. Yeah, because they attacked him first, but rightfully so, because he's coming in the airspace of our planet. Like, what the hell is this? We just want to let something fall in, not know what the hell it is? No, we got to take
Get
it out.
out of here, you UFO!
Right. So anyway, he comes in wrecking up everything. And they send, like I said, the makeshift Avengers. Hank Pym comes in, and he brings his daughter, right? Which I thought was odd. Huh? Yeah, Hope.
Well, you gotta remember this too. So let me some points here. So this is supposed to be like Guardians of the Galaxy if I forget his name, Yondu, right? Because Yondu died yesterday, right? Because this is what if. So he dies yesterday. But in this universe, it's instead of him keeping Peter for himself and raising him and protecting him from ego, he says goes like, yeah, go ahead, go to your father. It's almost like it's Yoda. I'm sorry. Yoda, who just don't have a myself said Yoda, but he sends him and says like, yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And there were some things that you was pointing out and you was saying. I'm sorry because I just lost my train of thought here. But
if he grew up, or at least if he was exposed at an earlier age to his father ego.
Yeah, like if he stayed away from his father and stuff, because that was the difference. So he boom, I'm sorry, this wine is really kicking in. Really a wind down. But go ahead.
Well, let me go. He he's mourning the death of his mother.
Yes.
He comes to Earth to kind of be back home where she was. And once the new set of Avengers, we'll call them, or the Avengers, we'll call them.
I call them Avengers 88 because this take place in 1988.
Very nice. Avengers 88, once they get him, under control or get him captive, yes. They were able to bring him into this facility. Now, when they were coming after him, Thor shows up, which was a surprise to me. I did not expect to see him. No. Thank God he came, because they were definitely punching above their weight class when they were dealing with Peter. He is like fully powered. He has all of the abilities of ego pretty much. So the fact that they brought some guy, two shrinky and biggy guys, two size.
The worst powers, by the way, because we've had side conversations said, who would even agree to this?
Right. So two of them, two useless mofos, right? Thank God Hank has the ability to call on insects, and he was able to distract him long enough to like kind of do something. But and also in that scene, we had the gigantic guy, wasn't it Goliath?
Goliath, yeah, he nailed it.
He comes in, and I swear every time they have like a big guy in like that has the power to get bigger, they always have that one scene where he reaches out and like catches the someone from the sky. They did that.
Have to.
They did that in Black Adam.
Yes.
And I swear they did it in some other movie.
Did.
See, the exact same thing. I was like, can we? The thing is, the power sucks so bad they can only fall back on these.
These are not powers that we would agree to. Is our point? Like we would not, no at all. We've crapped on it. And it's like, oh look, and granted, when he became a giant, and he would be a giant, like they would Ego would have like this army on him or whatever, and he would revert back to a normal size and then grow, and they would fall, and then you see him go boom, 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 but then he would be taken down. I'm like, Jesus, you're a giant, dog. Like, act like a giant. But yes.
I don't know, who knows? But yeah, when they bring him back to, I would call it Shield. I think that's where it was.
Close enough. Close enough.
They put him in like this little prison area, and here goes Hope, and this is what I don't understand.
This pissed me off, actually.
Why is this little girl allowed to roam around Shield with an access badge? And even if that was the case, right?
Because
they're like, okay, yeah, that's Hank Pym's daughter, whatever. Maybe people are familiar with her and they let her kind of do what she wants, right? But at the same time, why was there no guards or anything posted up next
watching the area, right?
Yes. It was just completely empty, even though he was like, most wanted man.
Boy.
Yeah. Why was he on guard,
right? knowing that there's an opportunity that this kid could have just bust through the walls and stuff like that.
Facts. Facts.
I have no idea why they didn't do that. And it's a great point there because, so for me, I was annoyed that this little girl walked by. And I mean, thank God that Peter really wasn't someone who really wanted to hurt anybody. It showed later in the clip that, hey, I just want to see my mom. You know, and you know, Hope was able to relate to that because she was like, yeah, I know what you're going through. They had a connection because of the tape cassette or whatever.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, thank God Peter just didn't want to take over the world because because you're letting loose this person, you're taking a chance, and this person could have blew up the world.
Facts. And yeah, she just was like, yeah, sure, we're both kids. Why not? You know, I'm like, this little girl.
I think even as a kid, I have my reservations.
Right.
Like, who are you, dog? Like, why are you there and I'm out here?
She literally saw the devastation he was creating on the news. All of the chaos. And she was like, you know, forget that. You know, we're both kids.
We're just
You're a kid, I'm a kid.
You're a kid. I'm a kid. We're all kids. Hey, yeah, there we go.
Right. Hey. So he ends up sneaking out. And
you know who didn't care about them being kids?
My boy, the one who's about to get stuff done, the Winter Soldier, had the right idea.
This girl right here, she just like the anti-hero. That's all. Because like, if that was Red Hood, you'd be like, let's go. But go ahead.
Him and Thor was like, yo, sorry, he's a kid, but he gotta go. You know, for the greater good. And I can't help but to agree. But it turns out that thank God that they didn't do it when Peter gets to his mother's grave, which was designed very much like, I don't know if you saw Black Widow, the movie. Actually, no, I do know you saw because we reviewed it together.
Yes, ma'am.
At the end, when Yelena goes to the grave, doesn't that look like that same graveyard, or is it just me?
You know, that's a good call. I didn't even think that. So no, I didn't do.
Same graveyard.
Okay, no, fantastic.
And oh boy, Winter Soldier, he got him lined up, ready to go, right? Like he's just about to pull the trigger at any moment. And Howard Stark calls him on the phone. Like, you better than this. You don't got to do this.
Steve wouldn't do this.
Right.
I love that they just know like there's a certain trigger word. Like for me, if you said Mark, I would immediately go like, yeah, you're right. Mark wouldn't do this. And I would turn my back. But all he heard was Steve. And he immediately was like, yeah, Steve wouldn't do this. He would read the Bible. I should do that.
I should do this. Right. And he lets him go. Which turns out to be for the betterment because on the battlefield, we have Thor, our Avengers 88, and Ego. He comes down to the planet. He's like, look, you got something of mine. And he wasn't even talking about his son. He was talking about that seed.
Flower. Yes.
Yeah.
Not for nothing. There was a few things I found funny. So real quick, if I could just talk back about that scene with Winter Soldier, right? I had anxiety because I said, is he really about to shoot this boy? Because this is what if. So anything can happen. So I was glad I didn't see the visual was this boy being shot, right? But also with Ego, and he said, I want to come back from my seat. I just find that funny because this man has left his seat. There's a joke in there.
Yeah.
This man said, he's left his seat a lot of places.
Yes, he has. Now, when they do get Peter, right, they're like, all right, now that we got him, we can use him as a weapon to fight his daddy. So it was giving very much Invincible, like Invincible fighting Omni-Man. Like they was trying to line it up. Except
this boy had a chance.
Well, yeah.
Let's be honest here.
And
join us for the Invincible review because we'll be back for that. But carry on.
Yes, please do. But everyone was getting their butt kicked. But Ego came down. He was making all these little clay soldiers that look just like him with his curled up bangs and everything else, right? And even Thor, I was surprised Thor was getting handled, man. I was like, all right, Thor is a god.
Right.
Ego is not an eternal, but he's what are those things called? Ancestral or
I get what you're saying. Yeah, close to it. Yeah.
So I thought that Thor would, be able to put something down, but he was getting his butt handed to him. And from what he said, the reasoning for Thor to even be on Earth was because Ego killed all the Asgardians. Like just right.
And it almost seems like no matter what the timeline is, Thor suffers.
He doesn't get a break, man. It's never. It's just, what's it called, a nexus event or whatever. They just got to
Oh
die.
yeah, it's a canon event. A canon
Yeah,
event.
they
Yeah.
can't. They just, the Asgardians never make it. At least the planet. But the seed, whatever comes, they didn't, for whatever reason. Peggy called Howard on the phone, like, look, it's getting out of control. You got to take the seed off world, get it out of here. And Howard decides to not do that, but pick up the phone and call Bucky. So Ego grabs the seed with his tentacle, lightning beams, whatever they were.
They're like, yeah.
Yeah, and it starts pulling it to him, and everyone's being taken out by the clay soldiers. No one can get to this damn seedling in time.
There's some powerful clay.
And then just in time, a rocket shoots through the air, and it's our girl Marvel and Hank Pym and Peter. They come out. Peter gets shrunken down by Hank.
Yep.
They fly on the fastest ant I've ever seen in my life. There's no way an ant is flying that goddamn fast.
Well, you don't know that. Have you ever flown on an ant?
I've never flown on an ant, but if I could smack an ant with a goddamn fly swatter.
Have you seen an ant fly?
I have not in a very long time.
Okay, there we go.
But I do know that they do fly, and I can guarantee you they're not flying faster than a goddamn super villain with tentacle, electric power.
Well, you know what that ant's power was, right?
Super speed.
Well, I was going to say just convenience.
Oh yeah, plot. That's what it's plot armor.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I said. You've never flown on an ant before. Neither have I, but I'm just in the same.
Apparently, they're the fastest animal alive. So forget everything else. It's the ant. Now, they were able to take the seedling, and Ego and his son have this moment where, he was like, "You're just a human." I didn't love your mother very much, Omni-Man, and like I said, Mark.
Yeah, the only thing he didn't say was she was a plant.
Yeah, oh yeah, she was just like a pet, or something like that.
Just like the floor.
But he did confess to killing her, which is Omni-Man would never, right? I don't think he would have killed Deborah, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there. But
I agree to that. I really do. And by the way, we haven't read the comics.
No, we haven't. No, yeah. So we're just going off of vibes. I don't think that Omni-Man would kill Debbie. But Ego said, F that wife, F them kids, right? Because he was about to take out Peter too. But Peter uses the seed and absorbs the power and took out his dad in like one blow. And
wrecked him.
Yeah, that was pretty much the episode. And like I said, I enjoyed this episode. I feel like it was even better than the first one. What did you think?
I had fun with this episode. I think it was fun just seeing like different versions of Black Panther, AntMan, Goliath that we didn't get a chance to see in the MCU. I mean, I do like that they are looking at their roster. And I also said, and I feel like I said this yesterday, I like that they were able to get some of the original voice actors. So, Winter Soldier was Stan. I forget his name completely, but the guy who plays him. Yeah. Same with Hank Pym and Thor as well, and Goliath, because that was Fishburne. And I remember looking up because they said who the cast was. So this episode was fun. And it's one of those things, once again, I have to see how each episode goes because I can't say it's a fave, but I feel like season 2 so far has been throwing out some really good episodes where I'm just like, man, I can't wait to see the next episode and see how everything goes. And I've just been having fun watching these things in alternate timelines. Something that we didn't even get a chance to mention, where how you mentioned with the Winter Soldier, where he didn't kill that kid. And I was talking to some friends, shout out to the Blurred by Nature podcast, and they were saying, man, it would be cool if we saw that Winter Soldier protecting Brooklyn. And I was like, yeah. And somehow he runs into Luke Cage and they're Heroes for Hire. We fantasy booking here. So it's so many good things in this episode. It's fun. And it's really a great time. So I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it.
But speaking on this, the last question before we end the episode,
Yes,
But
ma'am.
being that a lot of the screen actors return to do the voice acting, um, what do you think about that? Because one part of me is like, okay, yeah, this is really cool that they came back and did this. But another part of me realizes that a screen actor and a voice actor are have two separate talents almost, because you
Absolutely.
cannot compare a talented voice actor to a talented screen actor. There's so much more emphasis and emotion and that you hear from voice actors that you don't necessarily get from screen actors. It's more flat.
Yes.
And the range that they can get just with their voice doesn't necessarily it isn't the same.
No, it's not. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So with this being like a more lighthearted, cartoony thing, I think it works. But I say all of this to say that voice actors are fantastic. They don't get enough credit. I wish that Hollywood would, lean more onto voice actors as opposed to trying to get these big names just to get people in the seats. But I understand, it's capitalism. You got to make your money. So
I would sit here and say, because I do agree with what you're saying. Voice actors, they deserve their flowers. Give them their flowers and tell them their thank yous. But I also sit here and say, in this particular thing that we're talking about here for the what if, I think it's great that they can get, if they can, by the way, get the voice actors for this character that they played for the MCU and then put it out here for the characters. But I do agree that voice actors, there's just a level to it where I don't know any voice actors, but from stuff that I hear, they put in a lot of work to do that. And not everyone can do that. It's not put a microphone in my face and I say things. No, these guys know how to sit here and go like, I'll use Goku as an example, and I'm talking about the American version. I don't know. I think it's Sean something. I don't know. But when he says, watch out, everyone. So it's fantastic. Shout out to the third member.
Most biased judge.
That is so rude. What? I don't see Dan in the chat. Is Dan in the chat?
No, Dan is the best judge. This is the most biased judge.
Don't listen to her. Don't look. Don't. He's the third part of Top Shelf. Was it Baddies with a Cup of Joe? Baddies Cup of Joe.
Baddies Cup of Joe. But that was the episode, guys.
Yes.
We are really burning the midnight oil. We're going to try to bring these to you every day as they come out on Disney Plus. So join us tomorrow night, Christmas Eve, for episode 3. We'll talk about it.
Okay. We're going to talk about it, but we're here. We're going to talk about the what if. Not only is we're talking about what if, but I do want to plug out real quick. When Echo come out, the trio, we agreed to do that. So there's content here for the trio and content for UPRE. Support, like, subscribe, and all that beautiful stuff. There's a link to this lovely lady's YouTube channel. So please subscribe to that as well. There's a lot of great things going on for the latter part of 2023, going into 2024. So see you.
See ya. Bye.
Right. You said all that.